Alright guys, so I have officially lived in this house for about a year, and I have not unpacked everything. I've not even come close to unpacking everything. If you guys remember the last tour I did of my room, it was jam-packed, and I don't have everything unpacked, obviously, but I do have this studio functioning, I have it working, and I thought it's time that I show you guys what my studio looks like, so let's dig in. So this is the door to my room. I apologize for the weird lighting, but I have a sign up here to let people know when I'm filming. Also, I have this poster I did of the HULKBUSTER, which you can purchase a digital copy for $1 down in the description down below to my Artstation. So yeah, I have this poster here. Eventually, I would like to put a Batman one here, but that's going to be a project for another day. So let's go in. And really, when you step in here, you have a few options. You're greeted by a few things, but we'll take it one chunk at a time. So let's just kind of show off the whole thing, and then we'll go in depth. You've obviously seen the set plenty of times. I'll do a close-up so you can see more of it, because there's some stuff you guys have not seen. I'm always changing that background. But yeah, this is my studio, and it's also my room that I sleep and live in. So yeah. Luckily, it's not as jam-packed and it's not as small as the one in Massachusetts, but there's still quite a lot to look at. So let's take it one step at a time. Starting with the back of the door, we have a Batman poster, because of course, and it's Long Live the Bat. I love this poster. I love the artwork. 80th anniversary. Absolutely love it. The frame's a little too big for it, but whatevs. I like it. Now, this is the first piece of furniture you see in here, and it's really a dresser. A little funny with how it fits in the organization, and I'll explain it later. But I mostly keep like watches here, my necklace, some stuff for painting, medicine, hand sanitizer. Gotta stay healthy, especially now. And I also have my first award I ever won at Regent, a self-portrait I did a year ago. I need to do a new one. I was actually really pretty proud because I was the only person that actually got an honorable mention and an award for being an entry-level student, so I was pretty happy about that. I have this thing which is actually really important to me. This was a note that Sarah's mom wrote her, and she gave it to me, so it actually chills right here for inspiration. Moving over here, we have a calendar and a wooden sign that says, "Let's talk about how awesome I am." It's a really fun wooden sign I got from Sarah, and it's just a free Marvel comic, but I use it to make notes, and it's my calendar, so it's actually how I make most of my notes. I do have another calendar that you'll see. But yeah, really moving into the room, we have this. I feel like is the main drawing force. Like when you first walk in, you see this, and it really steals your attention. And then you see this, and that steals your attention. But I'm actually going to start on this shelf right here, and that's because it's really the start of the organization, which ties, of course, into this shelf, and later on that shelf. But as you can see, I just have some random figures on here. Like, I got some Kamen Rider, Iron Giant. That is a vintage Frankenstein figure I'm very proud of for owning. But yeah, it's just kind of random stuff here. Like, I got lantern rings. But the main purpose of this shelf, and it's actually two shelves bolted together on top of each other, is that when I went to the Kubrick school, they had a visual library. Something that I think is really ingenious, and I wanted something like that, and to display all of my trade paperbacks. So I took a few hours when I first moved here. I sat down and I organized all of my dad's trade paperbacks, all of his graphic novels, everything. And then I went through mine and did the same. And I ended up with this huge system, but it is fully alphabetized. There may be a few books that you might see out of order, and that's just because my dad would take a book and then not put it in the right spot. Now, I did go through and try to fix it as best as I could, but I might have missed a few. And I also tried to leave some room so that I could slide some more in, because it'd be a pain to, like, oh, I got a new book about the Atom, and I have to fit it in here somewhere. But Batman has a huge spot because I'm a huge Batman fan, so I try to get Batman comics, I try to hunt them down, so they end up right here, and it's just easier if I have that huge spot where I don't actually have to, like, fight to put them in. But yeah, so it starts here, and it goes from A. I think it ends with C, or the beginning of C. I know B ends in here. But you can see there's quite a few graphic novels. And that's where this part of the room really is connected. and why it's kind of weird to talk about this first before this, because this is the start of the organization. This is the second part of the organization, so it continues from here all the way down. And I recently went through and I actually cleaned it out, so there's a few major gaps, and I'm going to explain why in a little bit. But you can see it continues to the other side. The other side is also jam-packed with comics, and it ends on this part. So it's interesting how the first piece of furniture that you see is the end of the comic book organization. So that's kind of funny to me. But yeah, it continues, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. About 20 shelves, give or take. I don't know if you want to count these as 2 individual ones because it has that break in the middle. So maybe you want to count as a full shelf. I'm counting them as individual shelves, so it's quite a lot, and that's not including the manga shelf, which we'll get to. Yeah, so I have a lot of comic books, a lot of graphic novels, and for the most part, I believe that this is all of my graphic novels. Now, I might be missing 1 or 2 in a box somewhere that my dad just randomly packed in a different box, but for the most part, this is pretty much everything, and as long as it has a readable spine, I kind of consider it going in here. It really depends, because for the most part, I don't have any big books in this spot. Now, let's talk about this spot in a minute. So I do want to show off this portrait I did of Batman. This was actually using myself as a reference, or I think it was, actually no, I think this was my dad as a reference. I had him put on a Batman costume, and this was my final project for my first drawing class at Regent, and it came out really good, so I really like it. I also have, of course, my Venomsona Wrath, and this giant poster of Avengers issue 1, drawn by my favorite artist, Jack Kirby. Now, this actually does serve 4 individual purposes. For example, it's part 2 and 3 of the comic book storage system. It has its own comic book storage system, but it's a main display for my 3-inch figures. Now, these aren't all of my 3-inch figures, far, far from it, but what they are my 3-inch figures for my Avengers. So I have 1 Spider-Man, I have 1 Thor, and I try to get 1 of each character. Well, Vision, you have examples, because I imagine it's like a scene where it goes intangible. Same thing with like Ant-Man, Wasp, and Yellow Jacket, like I have a scene where you see them growing. So that's like that, but for the most part, I do try to get at least 1 of each character, and I have some customs, like my custom Robbie Reyes, my custom Devil Dinosaur, and a few other customs in there. I also do my own thing, like for example, I have Jane Foster Thor in there, but I gave her the Warhammer, because to me that actually made sense, so I have that there. I do have Iron Spider-Man, because he's kind of his own character right now, so I have Iron Spider-Man, and then I have normal Spider-Man, and that is slightly customized, so yeah, but for the most part, it's just kind of how I do it. I do have a few figures that aren't in the 3-inch figure line. Like, for example, that one is from the board game, like that Ghost Rider figure, and I do have the actual Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider figure there, and then I have my Robin one I custom. So, as you can imagine, this is kind of impressive, and I'm really proud of this because it has figures I built, and I've really gone out of the way to try and make an Ultimate Avengers shelf. But yeah, a lot of work went into this, and it really is a big part of the room, and I like how when you walk in, it really captures your attention, and I even have a little pin right there, so I really like how this came out. Yes, a spoiled, rotten dachshund does live here. Now, the final purpose of this system is a different type of comic book storage. Now, the way I built this is 4 identical shelves. 2 of them are bolted together in the middle, and I really do wish I bolted these together, but that may have caused problems later down the road. Either way, the front part is completely hollow, so you can actually stick your hand all the way through here. I don't know how well you could see that, but what's important to note about it is that this is a special type of storage for comic books. As you can see, this is my current list of comic books I have to read. And you can see back there, there's another pile. Those are True Believers and like older comics I got for $1. Now, this box right here is just for those True Believers. This box is for comics that I pick up like, oh, this comic looks interesting. Actually, this is really cool. Hold up. This comic looked interesting, but I'm not going to pick up the rest of the comic line, so I'll just drop it in here because I'm not picking up the rest. This box is specifically for ongoing comics, and that bottom box is for completed runs. So I actually have all of Sideways in there, I have all of Dragonfly Man, So that's how this is organized. Now, originally this one was empty, and the original idea was that when this box gets full, I can organize it so I can keep my ongoings in 2 separate boxes and just organize them that way. But unfortunately, this ended up becoming for stuff like, oh, I need to finish reading Hulk to put this organized, or oh hey, I have this comic but I don't have the one before it. So that's kind of where this goes. This box was a gift from my grandfather, and I need to find a place to actually put that. And I also sometimes will put some extra projects in there, like I'm working on a pop-up book. I already finished it, I just need to get it back from my teacher. So when that's done, I can actually make the video, but I have the templates and the parts stored there just so they wouldn't get damaged. And I got that done before I got some of the furniture over here. So, and I've been too lazy to move it. So we'll just pretend that makes sense for my organization. But for the most part, that's how this setup works. It has part 2 and part 3 of the graphic novel storage system. It has the top layer of toys and then my special comic book design system to actually store comic books. Now I have like over 30 long comic boxes and about another probably 10 or 15 short boxes full of comics from me and my dad. They're in the garage. These are just what I have right here, and they're meant just for current convenience. So like when this box gets full or this box gets full, it's actually going to go into the garage and an empty one will be put in its place. So this is not permanent, it's meant to be modular for convenience. Now, you guys know I'm a huge Godzilla fan, and I have my Godzilla poster from the first Godzilla movie. It's not an original, it's a reprint, but it's actually the dimensions that it would have been, and I have it there on my wall proudly. I have when Avengers fought Godzilla framed. That's an original copy. That's actually not a reprint, that's an original. And I got most, if not all of, I think I'm missing 1 or 2, but for the most part, all of my Godzilla figures are here, including the pop vinyls. So, absolutely love Godzilla. So I had to put him here. This guy's cool because he glows in the dark, so it's kind of nice putting him next to the light because he'll glow a little bit. Now, the way this works, it's the top layer is all Godzilla, including these movies. Now, there are some exceptions. For example, I do have the colorized King Kong because this is kind of meant for all the kaiju movies I have, including Godzilla and Kong Skull Island, because they fit together, and of course it ties into Kingdom of Monster. So I try to keep all my kaiju movies here. And as you can see, there's some Mecha Godzillas in there, but for the most part, this is just Godzilla. I do have my King Kong figure right here. He couldn't fit on the shelf, which kind of sucks. But I got Godzilla to hold a VHS copy of the first ever Godzilla movie. This was a pain in the butt, and it's actually balanced. It's not stuck there with sticky tape. I didn't cheat. And yeah, there are VHS tapes. See, my dad really likes VHSs, and I grew up with them, so I don't mind them. I have players that play it, and I like the box artwork. So it's something where I don't mind having a VHS copy because, well, for one, it makes it easier for my dad, and the fact that I don't have the need to upgrade. I have something that can play it, so I'm okay with it. Now, if I do get a DVD copy of the movies I have, I will switch them out. But for the most part, I really don't have that need. And yeah, this is two in, and it's quite a lot of movies. In fact, if I move this, I'm going to have to be very careful. I even have some Mothra movies, so I have quite a few movies in here. Altogether, I don't know how many, I just know it's a lot, because I'm a huge Godzilla fan. But that's the top of this shelf, which turns into manga. Now, today I actually decided to go through the entire section and pull out all the manga and put it onto its own shelf. Originally, it was all mixed in alphabetically with this, so that's why there are a few gaps in here. But now, I don't have that. I actually have them all together. Mainly because Sarah got me so much Berserk that it kind of deserved its own section. Now, this isn't all of my manga. If you actually move this book down, you can see there's 2 in there. Those I got for free, and they're titles I've never heard of, so I just popped them in the back. But my rule is, if I really like an anime, I at least try to get volume 1 of it. So I have Fullmetal Alchemist, I have Brotherhood. Oh wow, I just called My Hero Academia Brotherhood. Let's try this again. I have Fullmetal Alchemist, I have My Hero Academia, I have Bleach, One Punch Man. I have 1 and 7 because 7 has a really cool fight scene that I use as reference. Dragon Ball Z, and I have most of the Ultraman. I know they came out with like, I think they're up to volume 12 or 13, but I need to pick them up because this was actually a really good book. And of course, all of this Berserk I have 19 chapters of Berserk. This is actually hilarious. I have random papers that are for basically adulting. If you're an adult, you have a shelf of just, hey, here's some important stuff, and you stick it on a shelf and you forget about it. Over here are sketchbooks. So these are broken up into 2 sections for obvious reasons. One is empty / currently working on. So for example, if I grab this off of the shelf, I haven't had the chance to actually rip this off, but I finished it today. This is, oh wow, the lighting, you cannot see it. But this is actually going to be a new banner for my YouTube channel where I drew myself, Sarah, my dog, Patty, Taylor, my sister, and her fiance, Alex. So I don't know why you couldn't see it with the light. Let's try it actually over here. See if that works. Okay, yeah, you can see it a lot better. So yeah, just to show I'm not playing, like, it literally disappears. But yeah, so this is something I'm working on. Normally, something like that would go in here. But I was kind of lazy today, and I picked up the rest of my room. So I didn't feel like actually ripping it out, so I just threw it back on the shelf. But yeah, so currently working on / empty, completely full. And as you can imagine, I've filled quite a few sketchbooks in my time. Now, I will admit this one's not fully filled. This one is. This was my cartoon. So this is how many episodes. Like, this was episode 1 of Hero Ball. Look how thick that is. It was over 150 pages. That's why I got that award. They made up that award for me because I had backgrounds. I had like detail that I was like doing things nobody even knew how to do because that's just how I do it. But yeah, so I have like stuff for writing. Like, this was the first ever journal I was writing my comic ideas in. This was the first ever book I actually wrote a story in. So that's very important to me. So I actually kept it here. I have like stuff from when I was a little kid my mom saved. I have like, this is all my homework from Animation 100. This is this and this. That's how many pages I went through. I think it was almost 1,000 pages. Yeah, I did a lot. But filled, unfilled. Also, these 2 are school notes, so really like that because I have some good references. And then this is also the Bible for my new cartoon I'm working on, which I will be fully developing, so we'll see how that goes. Moving over, we have comic sleeves, and then we have a portfolio. This is my actual professional portfolio. I'm going to show you guys a quick little peek. So I have a few drawings in here. This one is meant to be very professional. Stuff that I can go in and be like, hey, here's what I can do. I do have pictures of my larger scale stuff. So yeah, I got a skull I hand drew, Amazon. So that's what this is. That's an empty one, and that's because I got that at, I think, Goodwill for like stupid cheap, and it was fully loaded. So that's going to be a casual portfolio. And I have my realistic sketchbook for realistic drawings. Going down here, we have books. This was organized. It's not really organized anymore. They are random books, and they are really random. For example, I have a Pocket Thesaurus. I have H.G. Wells. I have Frankenstein. I have Unexplained Mysteries of the 21st Century. I have writing movies for fun and profit. And if you notice, when you move all these books out, there's more books back here. It's really just this section because I had so many that I really didn't want to give away. I did go through here and clean this up, and I, for the most part, got rid of the books that I don't need, but I have a lot of books that I do want and I don't want to sell, so they ended up just going behind the main books. But yeah, so this is as organized as it gets. I have some random stuff in here, and some of these books are too big to actually fit on the shelf properly. Some of them are kind of references, like I have a ton of books on guns and swords so that I could have a good visual reference. And they go over here because they're more history books than like reference books, and you'll see why when we get to that part of the room. But yeah, so I have some textbooks in here. I have just different references, different cartoon books. Then we get to the movies. This shelf, again, is mostly for books. Now, the way this works, I have basically some movies over here, double stacked, because of course. And then same thing here, double stacked. The first layer is all Batman. And I did have Batman the Brave and the Bold in here, but then my dad wanted to watch it, so he's downstairs watching that. So just imagine there's 3 more DVDs here. But I just have some random DVDs behind there, like Ghostbusters, Halloween. I have the Alfred Hitchcock collection I got for stupid cheap at... That one, I definitely remember getting that one at Goodwill. So that was a really good find. So mostly box sets here and Batman on this shelf, and then just random loose ones. Loose VHSs, just some random stuff like Predator, Predator 2, Army of Darkness. I do have Son of Kong still shrink wrapped, so that was pretty cool. Spaceballs, one of my favorite movies. The Phantom, this was some digital comics my dad bought that he wants me to transfer for him. I got some potions that I need to actually do stuff with. I got these at Dollar Tree for like $1. And that's really this part of the room. It just serves as manga, sketch stuff, and then normal books and DVDs. DVDs do continue over here, so I have a little rack full. If you move the rack, you actually see my collection of Kabuto Mushis and GLaDOS figures. I have a few packed away, but for the most part, this is all of them, give or take like 10. Also got One Punch Man. Going on top, we have 3 Mushis. We have this awesome Xenomorph that's so cool. I got that for like 20 bucks at a comic shop. I got this at Goodwill. This was a bobblehead / bank of the creature of the Black Lagoon. Got a Frankenstein dude chilling over here. Got a giant King Kong. And this is my TV setup. So that's a custom Lego I made with Mikey. That is Sarah's cousin. And I got Comic Book Guy from The Simpsons chilling on my TV. So yeah, I got a VHS player and a DVD player. This TV is built in with a DVD player, but unfortunately it is broken. And we get over here to my bed. So this is where I sleep. I do a lot of... Actually, I take that back. I don't do a lot of sleeping. Sleep is the one thing I need the most of. Going over here, we got a Marvel canvas, which is awesome because I got that at Target and I found that at Goodwill. And they don't match, but they really go well together though. And that thing has fallen on me 3 times, so that's not fun. This is my hand-drawn homage to Kirby. This is a reproduction of Fantastic Four issue 62, one of my favorite issues of Fantastic Four, all done by hand. And it is my reinterpretation of that, my reproduction, my whatever you want to call it. Very proud of this. This is my mural. This was something I had to do for drawing, which was the same class that Batman one was for. Unfortunately, I forget the name of like specifically what it's called, but my teacher loved it, and my dog is in the middle. It came out really good. And yes, I do have a Batman pillow. Don't judge. Moving up top, we actually have one of 2 pieces of artwork in this entire room that's framed that I didn't make. So this is Cthulhu from H.P. Lovecraft, one, not my favorite writer, but I love the mythos and I love the idea of his writing. And Cthulhu's just a cool creature, so she, my girlfriend, amazing person that she is, commissioned one of her friends to actually go in and make this for me. And she stained and burnt the paper herself, which would totally scare me as an artist. I have my autographed Greatest American Hero Mego, got it FX, mine is production model 162. I have these cool box art from DBZ. I actually use them for storage because I keep like remotes and stuff in here. And I got Ted Cord, Jaime, and Jaime. I want to find the other Blue Beetle, Dangara, and actually put him on here, but yeah, good luck finding that figure. Goku, and of course, you will forever be my always. And that's something Sarah gave me that makes me smile, so it chills with next to where I sleep. Here's the other piece of artwork. This is of the Creature Black Lagoon. Same artist, very talented. And that is a vintage metal poster of the creature from the Black Lagoon. So that Captain America thing, that whole canvas was a gift from my sister. I have the Spider Buggy and Robbie Race's Hell Charger on top of this gorgeous Marvel poster I found. And I have 1, 2, 3 comic books framed. These are just comic books that me and my dad like the artwork. They're iconic and they look cool. That's actually one of my dad's favorite comics. I even found a mini canvas of it at the same place I got that canvas, which was Goodwill. I also have some metal posters, one of Spider-Man and Ghost Rider, and they kind of just chill here, and I really like it. I am more of a DC guy, but Marvel just has better merch. Moving over here, of course, I got the TARDIS blanket, how could I not, with DC Comics. And we really get to the main thing that you guys have seen a lot, but it has changed and evolved, and there are parts you guys have not seen, and that's the whole setup. So let's go over the studio part of the room. Hey guys, I want you to know I'm actually editing this video right now, and it occurred to me that the footage of this side of the room got deleted, which really sucks, so I thought I would just refilm it real quick. This is going to be super quick. I also changed the light bulb, so this is stupid bright. But let's pretend it's not. And in fact, we're going to back it up. Turn that light off. There we go. Oh no, that's worse. We're turning that light back on. Okay, so I am a huge Iron Man fan. You know, Batman, my favorite superhero, but Iron Man's my second favorite superhero. My favorite Iron Man armor has always been the HULKBUSTER. I absolutely love the HULKBUSTER armor. So, I have a bunch of HULKBUSTER figures. In fact, all my HULKBUSTER figures, except for that one, are on the shelf. That's actually my favorite one. Got my little bank that Patty Brick got me. I actually have a vintage, that is the first ever Iron Man HULKBUSTER armor toy released, and I have that in the package, which is super nice. I did cut the bottom so I can open and take the figure out, and I have a review on it on my channel. I have this little Lego figure that Sarah got me, including a big Lego figure that Patty got me. That is, I believe, the first ever 6-inch HULKBUSTER figure ever released. I have a ton back there. And then on the top shelf, I actually have basically my favorite Iron Man armors. For example, this one, and that one are all from the Marvel Universe line. This one is from Iron Man 3, yeah, Iron Man 3, and then all the rest are from Iron Man 2. I also have my Iron Man 2 figure over here for my Iron Man in my Avengers display, but this is basically my little Iron Man homage. I totally don't have a problem at all. And these figures like to fall, which kind of sucks. I also have, this is my first ever metal poster. My mom got that for me when she went to New York. I have an Iron Man HULKBUSTER trading card. This awesome glass metal piece that used to hang right next to my bed when I lived in Massachusetts. This is Iron Man's first appearance. This is a poster I got at Comic-Con. That is a reprint of the first appearance of the HULKBUSTER. Technically the second, because he appeared in the issue before at the end, but you know, that's really his debut episode. And then of course, my hand-drawn, hand-inked HULKBUSTER armor, which you can get a digital copy of this on my Artstation account, linked down below. Same thing with the actual one that is outside, that's colored. So that one's digital, this one's by hand. So yeah, that's this part of the room. Sorry I forgot it, but you know what? Got it in at the last minute, so that's what's important. So starting over here is this piece of furniture. It's a series of furniture that I really like because they design them so they can stack. And they're very modular and very nice. So at the bottom is actually where I keep my camera, and then I have varying storage levels. So the top layer is actually for ongoing projects. And that's when I talked about how that sketch and that sketchbook should be in here because it is a ongoing project, but I was kind of lazy. The bottom are just sketches, so like maybe that's something I did where I didn't finish it because I did it, like redid it, I thought it was better, or I just inked on top of it so I still kept the original sketch. It goes there, finished artwork goes there, that doesn't end up in the portfolio, digital copies, and then the rest is storage, usually just for video games. I have a checkerboard that Sarah handmade me there, so it shows there in its own shelf so it can be safe. Going over here, I actually do have paints. Most of these are from Dollar Tree, and then I have my little markers set up with all of my Prisma markers. Here we have the desk, and let's go into that. So, I mentioned how I have 2 calendars. This is my second calendar. It is a dachshund calendar. I don't know if you guys have heard of him, but it is Caruso, the celebrity dachshund. He is a cute little dachshund that makes funny videos on YouTube, and he wears cute little outfits. So Sarah got me this planner, and I use it for all of my notes and for all my planning. This is my current sketchbook. I started really for Inktober, I think a little before, but it became my Inktober sketchbook. One day I will do a dedicated sketch tour, not just of this sketchbook, but of all of my sketchbooks, and we will see how that goes. The more I hear back from you guys on that, the more I will move it to the forefront. But this desk is the main part of the room. This is the studio part that I work incredibly hard on. And you can see that this is really a YouTuber setup. So, let's break it down part by part by going over this shelf first. So at the top I have my T-Rex. Still have the battery so I can actually just close the mouth and open it to get that awesome T-Rex war. Got a giant HULKBUSTER, Green Lantern battery. Did I just say battery? Green Lantern battery. Wow, I can't speak. And then these are the 2 characters I made for my first ever stop motion short. This was made with my team last semester, and this short, The Path, will be posted in the Region Animation Showcase. I'm still not sure if it's being canceled or not, and will feature on this channel, both a director's cut and an assistant director's cut, which will be my cut of the film. Now, moving down, we have the Kirby shelf. This is something I talk a lot about. Let's turn this light off so we can see it a little easier. I don't have a problem. So, yeah, every book on this shelf is dedicated to Jack, the King of Comics Kirby, my favorite artist, creator of the Marvel Universe. and most of DC's cosmic stuff. So yeah, he gets his own shelf. I don't have a problem. The next shelf that I want to talk about is, this is a reference shelf, yes, but a very specific kind of reference. These are references that are non-artist specific. So I have the Animator's Survival Guide, I have Marvel's How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way, I have several DC books on drawing comics. This one's called as a sketchbook, but it's really good for layouts, How to Draw Anything. This is a Star Wars book just for mechanics, not a Star Wars reference, but a like mechanical detailed reference, How to Draw Fantasy. So I have different stuff like that, including graphic design and labels, and calligraphy and sculpting. So it's a general how to draw stuff shelf, which really comes in handy, especially it being really close that I can just reach over and pull it off the shelf. The next shelf is specifically for artists. So I have several books just on one of my other favorite artists, Alex Ross. One on Jim Lee. This one is on Alex Toth, Steve Rude. This one's kind of interesting because this is actually just the art of the Marvel movies. So that's also on the shelf, though technically it shouldn't, but we ignore that for now. And I have Ditko Unleashed, which is another one of my favorite artists. One thing you guys will note is that my favorite artists tend to be the ones that started in the comic book industry, because I like to draw upon the classic versions of these characters and the classic incarnation that the creators worked from. So I am a fan of those original artists. Now, I'm not knocking Jim Lee, who's another one of my favorite artists, but for me, I've always liked to go back to the roots of where the comic books started and to learn from the pros, because they started the industry. There's a lot to learn from the new generation of artists. There's a lot to learn from Jim Lee, but the story of Jack Kirby and his work, to me, is really where you want to get your information. You want to go to the source. But that's just my opinion. Now, Batman, of course, does have his own shelf. As you can see, they're not all comics. They're actually all like data books. I have like Batman Vault. I have the new version. I have like the Art of Gotham. This is just a really good shelf for Batman stuff. And of course, this shelf is just basically data books for the most part. So I have like a data book of Transformers and the Avengers. This technically would be a data book, but it talks a lot about Jack Kirby, so I ended up just putting it in the Jack Kirby shelf. But yeah, so that's how this whole thing is organized. It's visual references / books on how to draw and animate, individual artists, Batman, data books because they're the heaviest, so it helps with weight, and Kirby. So that's why I made the argument that technically maybe some of these books should be over there, but whatevs, it gets the job done. Yeah, sorry about that, my battery just died, so we just switched them out. Now, going into here, let's sit down at the desk. So there's a few things in here. For one, oh hey, you can see me. This is my laptop that I do all my work on. It will also chill on this sliding part, but depends on what I'm doing. If I'm drawing, usually it's here, and I got my camera set up. For example, if you look over here, this is actually how I can do overhead shots, and wow, that light is very bright. So this is how I do overhead shots, and this whole mechanism, this is a camera mount, can attach to this part of my desk right here, which is severely stained, like really stained. We're going to turn down the brightness too, because it's a little too bright. But yeah, it's stained and ripped. Yeah, I'm going to eventually recover this desk, but we're going to pretend that it's in perfect condition and it's not scratched up. But yeah, so that's what this is for right here. This is my camera mount. This is potentially some stuff done for Hero Ball Episode 2. I know Episode 1's not out, but I want to do Episode 2, so I'm still working on that. This is also just for like random stuff too, so if I need to put just like a piece of paper or just some like papers that I can clip real quick, that's what this is for. I have a few rulers here too, so this is where I keep my rulers, and because this is a cheap piece of furniture, I actually don't use the really nice command hooks, I just use cheap command hooks. Swinging to the wall, we have a few things. So for one, and this can be a little difficult to film, but if you look, I actually have metal posters of Batman, the first issue of Batman, which has a pin of Detective Comics #1. And it's actually really cool. I'm very proud of that because that was something I found at, I believe, GameStop, but Sarah found this one. This is the only Superman thing on this wall, and you can't really see it on camera. It's a pin of Action Comics #1. So she found this for me, and she got it for me, and I put it on my wall, and then I found the one of Batman, which was really cool. Of course, I have this little pin. This is a metal pin I got at, I think, Comic Convention. It's own handmade, and this pin, Batman in the Mega Man art style, Batman Brandville Batmobile, my favorite Batmobile of all time, vintage Batman pin, and of course a metal poster of Detective Comics 27. This is a hand-drawn picture of the entire Bat family. It took a while. This is a comic book poster of Batman versus the Joker. I think that's the Joker's second appearance. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the second appearance. And I did restore this one by hand too. The video should be out on that soon. Going on top, I have a pop vinyl figure of Batman's first appearance. And on top of that, I have this cool little statue that talks, the Chase figure, and just a normal Batman figure. So pretty cool. That's the Batman black and white line. So that piece right there, that came from, I believe it was Goodwill. My parents went in looking for stuff and they found that and bought that for me. That is a pillow somebody cut up and then hand stretched on a canvas. I thought that was absolutely amazing. So I have two. I have one right there. This is not the original poster for Batman the Animated Series. This is one I digitally recreated. So this was a recreation I did. And I had it print up so I could put it on my wall. So it does differ from the original one. It's not hand painted. It doesn't have the traditional shading. It is a digital recreation I made that I'm very proud of. So that's part of the wall there. We'll get back to it a little later. Let's talk about this piece of furniture. I'm actually really happy because it matches this part of the desk. And this was desk I got at Michael's for dirt cheap. I think I paid $50 for it. So definitely something that I recommend picking up. This is something else we're going to be picking up, having a terabyte hard drive. This is called the bank because I keep a lot of my drawing references and stuff in there. Also have some silly putty that I constantly mess with. It helps me focus when I need to fidget. And I'm going to give you guys a sneak peek. This is the thumbnail for Chamber Episode 1. So it's him giving a thumbs up. So very excited about that. And you can see this is my working file. You got a little sneak peek there. Now opening this up, we have all my inks breaking up into two sections. We have Sharpies, Fineliners. Going further back, if you look in here, there is a spot just for white pens, and then those are cheap pens. That's like stuff you get from Dollar Tree right there, so nothing too expensive in here. If we open this up, there's quite a few things in here first off. So for example, this is my travel case for travel drawing. This one is usually I'll keep in my backpack. I have Fix-It spray, which I will never spray again because we know how that went. I have just random supplies like lead and just random stuff in here. I have a bigger version of this in there for like super traveling art. I have an electric eraser. I have some blue pencils. This is a travel case for markers, specifically the Prisma one, a rag. These are my X-Actos. I have sculpting tools in there. And then this right here, this is kind of cool. So in this little spot, I have a pencil sharpener by hand, extra nibs for my electric eraser, extra nibs for my mechanical eraser. I have my own personalized set of drawing pencils. So let me show that to you because mine, I don't think a single one matches. Yeah, not a single one matches. I even have a white one in there. But yeah, they pretty much all don't match. Actually, no, I take that. There's a few, but they're varying lengths and stuff. So yeah, my shading set is very, very me, very unique, and it's even got my name on it. And then this thing over here is just extra pencils, extra shaders, and some extra lead. So I try to keep this drawer very organized because I'm constantly going through these two all the time. Going to this one right here, all of my traces, all of my little rulers, everything. A lot of this was actually given to me by my grandfather. A lot of it was bought by him, and another chunk of it was stuff that I bought. But some of this was like this one in here. That's actually stuff my grandfather used when he was a systems analyst and a circuit designer. So it's really cool. It's actually cool using the tools he used. This is a random... Oh, I popped it all the way out. I'm an idiot. This is a random thing stuff. So I got like tape, scissors, just random markers. This is just, if it don't fit in here, it goes in there. And it really is easy to understand how this works. Inks, pencils, / tools that I use quite often, everything else. And then rulers that don't fit in the ruler section go over here. Then if we move all the way over here, we got, of course, my Pepsi, because can't do without Pepsi. This is something I recommend that everyone does. This is a water bottle that I put empty / used stuff in, so mostly blades. And I actually will put silly putty in here so that when the blades go in, it actually will catch it. Like I have some tape in there, I have some glue in there, and that's again just to keep the blades from breaking through and actually injuring someone. So I'd like to do this, that way I could just have it be in one patch and I'm not wasting tape. I'm actually just being proficient with what I have. And it just chills in the cup holder. That's actually not cup holder. It's specifically for paints, like a little thing you could put like water in. But yeah, I use that as a cup holder. This desk also is full of like my mechanical eraser, pens, a normal pencil, erasers, ink, white ink. And then of course I have this rubber pencil eraser, which is kind of cool. And I have my blue pencil and inks and more inks. This actually is kind of cool. This is another blue pencil. This is a mechanical pencil with blue lead. This is the weird one that appeared at my house randomly, and it was a gift from my grandfather. And I just have some paintbrushes. So yeah, if we open this drawer, there's some batteries. And this is mostly just like flash drives can be stored in here. And if I actually start recording, I will put my mouse in here and actually control my computer so that it's not in the way of filming. This one's a little more exciting and more towards what we actually use for drawing. I also have on the bottom of this thing, and I'll show it on the other side, an entire system hooked up for making this as modular as possible. And my phone cord perfectly fits right there. It's such a cool little thing. But in this drawer, we have my references, which are my physical references. So we have the Bodycoon figures, we have the Figma, we have this cool skull, there is a fake dachshund in here, which is kind of cute. There's a little dachshund, a horse, and a skeleton. So they actually just chill in here, so I have easy access to it. Now I do want to show the wiring system right here. Little bit ingenious on my part. So that wire powers this bar right here, which has a power surge which connects several different items. For example, my phone charger, my laptop, and this. So this is a little light drawing table. This is for tracing and stuff, or like redoing inks. So I have it right here, so I can just pull it out and put it here. So it's stored here, which is really useful and comes in handy quite a lot. And then on top of that, I have a drawing tablet that I keep right in here, and that can be pulled out and connected with these wires here to my computer. So it's very modular. I try to make it as universal and easy to use as possible. Going back, we have, of course, the markers. Let's talk about this wall real quick, because I know you guys are probably wondering. Owlman, Batman Beyond, that's a bat Sarah got me at the Ark. Batmite, some Batman figures, another metal poster. This was the first wooden poster I ever got. That was a gift from my little sister, so really cool. And then I never saw anything else like that until I found that comic, and that was so cool. So had to pick it up, but always thank my sister for this because it's so good. Such a beautiful poster, such beautiful artwork. I can't be mad. That is a picture of Adam West and Burt Reynolds. I found it, put some Batman figures on it, and then that's the other canvas that I talked about over there. So I kind of have them chilling here. Now in this drawer right here, I have some art supplies, so we'll talk about that. I have two cutting mat setups. So I have my main cutting mat and a small one, paper towels, because you never know when you're going to make a mess. And of course I have a little cutting board. This is specifically one that has a razor, so you can actually like get precision cuts, and this is just so I don't scratch at my desk. I never used one for years, and now I actually regret it because I've really scratched up this desk. Going into here, I have a special external hard drive. This one is a heavy duty one that can back up your computer easily. This is the pen for the drawing tablet on top of some white spray paint. I do have the box for the actual hard drive here, which is nice because it props up this if I need to store some extra markers, if we're doing some inking. Same thing here, if I need to store some extra paintbrushes. And of course I got my electric pencil sharpener. I have some paper here, mostly like a notebook and some copy paper, some black paper. This is cool. This is inking supplies / painting. So I actually keep in this lunchbox a ton of like paint stuff, so paintbrushes, sponges. This is mostly for inks too, because this box holds all my extra ink nibs. I also have syringes specifically for ink. I cannot stress enough, this is for ink use. People, I have to say this because we live in 2020. Don't use these irresponsibly. These are specifically for ink mixtures. And I actually am pretty mad because if you remember the white ink month I did, I was very frustrated because that Battlewood episode, the listing for these were soft needles and they came as metal needles, and that was very concerning to me because I actually have needle phobia. So it really freaked me out to use, but I got past it because they aren't medical needles, but still I was really mad about the listing on that. So that chills right in here. Really holds everything together. Some canvases in here. Yeah, I store stuff. Going into here, it's just clay, candy, and this thing I need to make art for. Now, these two shelves are very important because we open up this drawer. This is just extra supplies. So it's stuff that are one-offs or stuff that didn't fit within the organization in here. They also made stuff that I don't need access to 24/7, where these two drawers, I pretty much need access 24/7. Though I have debated actually switching out some of the contents of this drawer with some of the contents in there so I can make this a little more accessible, but that can wait and I can figure that out later. There's just some custom supplies in here and just some normal supplies that you might need. Opening up this drawer, however, these are materials for very specific projects that I want to do. So I have specific clays in here, I have specific things in here because I want to make very specific projects. Like, I have this specific canvas in here for a very specific project. I have this egg in here for a very specific project. And this really, oh yeah, this is a script that I wrote. So that's what this shelf really is for. That's what this drawer is for. And it's for projects that I'm constantly working on. For example, I do plan on doing something with this really nice notebook, but I haven't gotten the chance to actually film it because things have been very crazy. And here we get to the lamp. So this is one of my favorite parts of the room because it constantly is changing and evolving and it always looks really cool. So at first I have more Batman black and white figures, and I have some random ones back there. I got a little bat signal here. I'm going to turn this light off. And as you can see, I have some stickers on here. They look really cool. They're wall stickers, so they peel off super easily. And I just have some random stuff like a Donatello, an Ant-Man figure. I have Mjolnir. That's an actual Phantom card that's very vintage. And similar to this Batman, done up in Mega Man style, I actually have Iron Man and Thor, Goku, Mega Man again, and of course Optimus Prime. Now this is the part that constantly is changing, so like it will literally change from video to video. This shelf is mostly for awesome Batman figures. So that's a shampoo bottle, but it looks like a really cool statue. Hellbat, Batman Beyond, the Christopher Nolan trilogy Batman. That's the new McFarlane Toys Batman, Armor Batman from Dark Knight Returns. We have New 52 Batman. This one's cool. This is my actual Batman the Animated Series action figure I've had since I was a little kid. An Adam West figure, another statue. Just random stuff. This is a pop vinyl I hand painted. A really cool pop vinyl figure, the Batmobile. So that's what this shelf is. It's for really cool Batman figures. The bottom shelf is just for cool figures that don't really have a home, and I just kind of like them. I know there's a Batman figure in there, but that one's actually meant to go back in storage. I don't know how it ended up there, but whatevs. And then I have a trash can. So that this setup can be for inking huge projects, doing simple drawings, sketches, doing full-on animation work, or for just doing digital work with my drawing tablet, which this thing is amazing. Seriously, it's absolutely amazing. Huion, oh, I can't wait to get your new tablet. Like, I just got this and I love it, but I'm seeing like 5 years in the future, I'm probably going to have to upgrade, and I can't wait because your quality, Huion, I'm not even paid by them, but their quality is so good, and I love that drawing tablet. So one little bit I did forget to show you guys is the closet. The light for it is right here, and it's just a normal closet. I have a cap shield in here, I have toy boxes, I have a Mjolnir and a Thor helmet, I have my Batman costume, I have action figure stuff, I have tons of art supplies, so like these are pretty big like pieces of paper that can't be stored, or like picture frames. I have my backpack in here. So this is just like huge pieces of paper that cannot be stored over here. I could put them under the bed, but I got room in my closet. So yeah. And it has a J on it. That's how you know it's mine. That completes the room tour. I hope you guys enjoyed me showing you guys my room and my studio. And I just want to keep in mind that I am really proud of this setup. You know, it's not perfect, it's not ideal, because you would want a studio separate from where you live. But for the fact that this has to serve the living and studio part, and it's a modular studio. I can do animation, I can do large projects, I can do small projects, I can do digital work, I can do light tracing with this thing. I can do what I need to do in the studio. At any given time, it is completely modular to work around my needs, and it's constantly evolving. I'm very happy I actually waited about a year to make this video, because the room really has changed and evolved. Not just in its presentation and how it looks on camera, but the fact that it does change to serve my needs, and it becomes more modular. Originally, I didn't have that piece of furniture there. but now I can't imagine the room without it. Same thing with this piece of furniture. It's a godsend to have a place to keep everything nice and neat, and a way to keep my paints displayed with easy access, including my markers. I can't imagine having a studio without this piece right here, able to store all my inks and all my other projects. That's what I like about my studio. It is modular and tailor-made to me. I can access anything I need and rearrange it to be anything that I want to work on. Digital, move that here, put a few things, done. Need to do a trace work because I did my pencils, I need to do ink on a separate one, got you. Need to do some animation, move this back, set up the terabyte. Oh, need to back everything up, plug that in, let's bring in the assets. That's what I like about this room. It can be modular. I have access to my drawing stuff, it's all within reach, and this thing is really something I'm proud of. I'm proud of how I've made this into my own workflow, how I have the ability to work on any project that I need. And not just with this, but the fact that I have a comic book system storage that works to what I need, that I have a visual library, and that constantly changes because I always pick up Batman figures. I have a manga shelf now, and I have everything organized, made for me, and that's what I like about this room. It is my room. And I love how it's different from my room in Massachusetts. I don't feel like cluttered. I don't feel like I'm surrounded by stuff because that room was small and it kept stuff that were not properly displayed. It was a hassle to move, it was a hassle to work, but this is something that I make work and it works for me. And that's what I like about it. And I'm at the point in my life where I know I should start selling stuff. I can't keep everything and I can't display everything. So I'm at the point in my life where I'm kind of not being minimalistic, but I'm choosing what to hang on and what to display, what to store and what to sell. Like for example, this is actually stuff that I plan on selling, and these are some packages that I plan to actually send out to Sarah and Patty, and this is just a big project that I haven't started because I don't know how to start it, / I don't know where else to put this giant heavy metal city frame, but you get my point. I'm proud of this room, and I'm proud with how it looks, and I'm proud with how it works, and one day I will do a behind the scenes where I show the studio in full function, because I just told you guys how it works, and I showed you where everything was, but I think if I showed you how I actually do everything, and how it's done, that you kind of get across the workflow a little better. Very proud with how this works, and I'm very, very happy with how it came out, and this is my room, and I'm proud of it. So, I know I keep saying it, but it's true. I'm happy with this room. And I just want to say that nowadays we're all stuck at home. We're dealing with this virus crap. And I want you guys to know that I hope you and your family stay safe. I hope you guys have a room that you like to spend time with. I hope you have a room that you feel comfortable in. I hope you have a room that you're just proud of to do your work in and chill for a little bit. So we're going to get through this. We're going to get better. Things, we got to stick together. We got to look out for each other. All that brotherly love, good neighbor, golden rule, all that crap. We gotta do it. I'm working extra hours at my store to help people in need that need supplies. I know that sentence was weird, but that's what people need. They need a need and they need supplies. So that's what I'm doing. I don't know why my accent came out, but the point is, I'm doing everything on my part. I just want to say that I hope you and your family stay healthy. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you have a room that you can feel comfortable and chillax in. I hope you have something to keep you entertained during this time, and we gotta stick together, and things are going to get better. So, I'm going to edit this video, I'm going to make sure it's ready to publish, and we are going to have a great time getting through this because we got to stay positive. And I hope me showing my room put a smile on your face and kept you entertained for a little bit, for however long this video is. So with that said, good night, stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.